The royal family is no stranger to scandal, but sometimes the consequences unfold not with public statements or televised interviews, but through quiet exits, updated websites, and severed ties. In recent days, a name once on the margins of royal controversy has returned to headlines: Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York. This time, it's not a new interview or public appearance. It's an email. Not recent, but over a decade old. Yet its contents have triggered real consequences in the present, particularly in the world of charities and royal patronage, where reputations are currency and trust is everything. Before we dive in, there's something I want to share with you. Thousands have been watching these royal investigations, but many haven't subscribed. If you're one of them, I invite you to join us now. Subscribe to Crownverse so you never miss a chapter in the stories behind the crown. The story begins not in 2025, but in 2011. The year Sarah Ferguson allegedly wrote a message referring to Jeffrey Epstein as a supreme friend. The context of the email remains murky. Her spokesperson claims it was crafted under legal advice, amid a moment of defamation pressure. The language, they say, was not meant as praise, but as a shield. Still, the phrase stuck. Supreme friend. In the years since Epstein's crimes became fully exposed to the public, that phrase has aged poorly. And now, more than a decade later, it has resurfaced with real-world impact. In recent weeks, at least 4 UK-based charities have formally severed their ties with the Duchess of York. These were organizations she supported for years, causes linked to children's welfare, cancer research, and educational access. Their decisions were not accompanied by dramatic statements or condemnations, just updates to leadership pages, quiet removals from patron lists, silent acknowledgments that, for these charities, the association had become too costly. It's important to note there is no verified accusation that Ferguson engaged in or knew about criminal behavior. She has not been investigated, charged, or formally implicated. Her only crime, if one could call it that, is the wording of an old email and its resurfacing in the present. But in the world of royal patronage, perception matters as much as fact. Charities rely on public trust. Their patrons are not just figureheads. They are symbols of credibility, responsibility, and moral leadership. When that image is tarnished, even by proximity, the risk is immediate. Donations can dry up. Media scrutiny intensifies. Beneficiaries question alignment. In that context, the decision to part ways with the Duchess becomes understandable, if not inevitable. What makes this episode more complex is Sarah Ferguson's relationship to the royal family itself. She is no longer married to Andrew and Elizabeth Break-their-Insick, but remains deeply connected through her daughters, Princess Beatrice and Eugenie. She has been invited to royal events, photographed at Windsor gatherings, and occasionally appears alongside senior royals. Her presence is unofficial, but not invisible. And this re-emergence of scandal places the palace in an awkward position. So far, Buckingham Palace has made no public comment. There is no indication that King Charles or any senior royal has asked Sarah Ferguson to withdraw from any role. But as charities take action, the institution faces a familiar question. When does personal controversy become institutional liability? This isn't just about Ferguson. It's about the royal ecosystem, the network of patronages, endorsements, and moral authority that extends well beyond the crown itself. When one figure falters, the effects ripple outward. And right now, that ripple is being felt not just in public perception, but in boardrooms and charitable trusts. What's striking is how differently this fallout has unfolded compared to past royal crises. There are no televised interviews, no public rebukes, just silence and action. Charities stepping away one by one, and Ferguson, for now, staying quiet. There has been speculation, entirely unconfirmed, that some in the royal family are growing uneasy with her continued public presence, that recent events have reignited private debates about who should and should not appear under the royal umbrella. But again, no verified source confirms these conversations. What is clear, however, is that Sarah Ferguson's reputation has once again become a point of tension in the broader royal narrative. This is not the first time she has faced scrutiny. In the 1990s, her marriage to Prince Andrew ended in divorce following financial troubles and tabloid scandals. In 2010, she was caught in a sting operation allegedly offering access to Andrew for money. And now, in 2025, an old email returns to haunt her, at a time when her former husband is already under renewed pressure from his own Epstein-linked controversies. The timing is not lost on anyone watching closely. Just as Prince Andrew faces new questions over a previously undisclosed email to Epstein, one that appears to contradict his public timeline, Sarah Ferguson's "supreme friend" comment re-enters the conversation. Whether coordinated or coincidental, the dual controversies have reignited public debate about accountability, legacy, and the lines between personal loyalty and public duty. For the royal family, these moments are deeply uncomfortable. The monarchy has worked tirelessly to distance itself from Andrew's scandal. His roles have been stripped, his public appearances limited, and now, by association, Sarah Ferguson becomes part of that distancing, not by royal command, but through institutional drift. Charities once proud to list her name now choose silence over symbolism. It raises a broader question. How does the modern monarchy navigate reputational fallout in an era where information, even decades old, never truly disappears? For centuries, the crown has relied on tradition, dignity, and controlled narrative. But in the digital age, control is elusive. Emails resurface. Screenshots go viral. A phrase, however brief, can shape public perception for years. Sarah Ferguson's situation is a case study in that new reality. Her supporters argue that she has worked hard to rebuild her image through charity, media, and candor. That one sentence written under unclear circumstances should not define her. They point to her work with cancer research, her children's books, her honest reflections on mental health. They ask, when does a person move past their mistakes? Her critics counter that the Epstein connection, however indirect, carries too much weight, that moral leadership demands higher standards, and that in the wake of such crimes, proximity is unacceptable, even if it's only a poorly worded email from the past. Both arguments hold weight, and both reflect the uncomfortable gray area where royal narratives often unfold. As of now, the Duchess of York remains silent. There has been no official response to the charity withdrawals, no statement of regret or defense. And perhaps that silence is intentional, a recognition that anything said could reignite the controversy. Or, perhaps, it is waiting for the storm to pass, for the news cycle to turn, for another figure to take the spotlight. But for the charities that severed ties, the decision is already made. The message is clear. Values matter. Associations matter. And in today's world, reputation is more fragile than ever. What remains to be seen is whether this moment marks the end of Ferguson's public patronage, or merely a chapter in her long, complicated relationship with the institution of monarchy. One thing is certain. In royal life, nothing truly disappears. Not letters, not scandals, and not the quiet decisions made behind the scenes when no one is watching. If you enjoyed this journey into the hidden world of the Crown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us here on Crownverse, where royal history lives on.